Since the dawn of time, our ancestors have gazed at the night sky, captivated by the twinkling lights above. These stars, distant and seemingly eternal, have always stirred a deep sense of wonder and longing in the human heart. They represent both the infinite and the unknown, a world beyond our grasp yet somehow a part of us. What are they? What is out there? These questions echo through the millennia, from the first humans who made their way across the plains to the brightest minds of today who peer through the lenses of powerful telescopes. As we look to the heavens, we are not just looking for answers about the cosmos. We are searching for our place in it. The story of astronomy is not just about the stars. It is about us, our need to understand, to explore, and to know. Our story begins over 4,000 years ago, in the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, Mesopotamia. Here, in ancient Babylon, the first great sky watchers laid the foundations of astronomy. The Babylonians didn't have telescopes or instruments. What they had was sharp observation and an understanding of the cycles of nature. They saw patterns in the heavens, patterns that spoke of the turning of seasons, the movements of gods, and the cycles of life itself. Their star charts are among the oldest surviving records of humanity's quest to understand the skies. They gave names to the constellations, our first roadmaps to the stars. More than this, the Babylonians sought to understand time itself. They divided the day, the month, and the year according to celestial movements. They believed that the heavens held secrets to fate, and their gods were ever present in the stars. But more importantly, they began to understand that the universe, vast as it was, followed rules, and by understanding those rules, they could predict the future. With this, they set in motion the quest for knowledge that would span centuries. Centuries later, in the land of Greece, another intellectual revolution took place. The Greek philosophers dared to think differently. They did not look to the stars for divine messages, but rather for laws that governed all things. Laws that could be understood, reasoned through, and explained by the human mind. In their hands, astronomy became more than myth. It became a science, a way of understanding the universe through observation, logic, and mathematics. For centuries, Greek astronomers, such as Aristotle and Ptolemy, shaped our understanding of the cosmos. They believed that Earth stood at the center of the universe. The heavens, perfect and unchanging, revolved around it. This geocentric view seemed irrefutable. It was the logical conclusion given the apparent motion of the stars and planets. But as they looked further and thought deeper, cracks began to appear in this seemingly flawless model. The stars, in their vastness, did not behave as neatly as one might expect. Then, in the 16th century, a quiet revolution began. In a small room in Poland, an unlikely figure, Nicholas Copernicus, began to question everything. He dared to challenge the wisdom of the ancients, and in doing so, he turned the world upside down. For centuries, humanity had believed that Earth was the center of the universe. But Copernicus proposed a simple yet radical idea. What if Earth were not the center? What if it were just one planet among many, revolving around the sun? This heliocentric theory, placing the sun at the center of the solar system, was revolutionary, not only in its astronomical implications but in its philosophical ones as well. It was a challenge to human pride, to the belief that humanity held a unique, central place in the universe. Copernicus could not have known it then, but his theory would spark a transformation, a shift from a worldview dominated by religion and tradition to one driven by curiosity, reason, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. In the years that followed, a new instrument, one never before imagined, would open up the heavens to the human eye. This instrument was the telescope, and it fell into the hands of one of history's greatest astronomers, Galileo Galilei. Through Galileo's lens, the universe was transformed. The stars and planets were no longer distant, ethereal objects. They were real, tangible worlds with mountains, valleys, and moons of their own. Galileo saw the craters and ridges of the moon, the four largest moons of Jupiter, and the phases of Venus, phenomena that could not be explained by the geocentric model. For the first time, the heavens were revealed as a place of change and dynamism. This was a universe far more complex than anyone had imagined. Galileo's discoveries confirmed Copernicus' theory, and yet they set him on a collision course with the authority of the Church. Galileo's support for the heliocentric model would lead to his trial and forced recantation. Yet, the truth could not be suppressed. The stars had been seen, and once they were seen, humanity could never look at the sky in the same way again. At the same time, in distant Germany, another genius was at work. Johannes Kepler, a man whose name would forever be linked to the study of planetary motion, took Galileo's discoveries and advanced them further. Kepler, through meticulous observation and mathematical analysis, discovered that the planets did not move in perfect circles, as the ancients had believed. Instead, their orbits were elliptical, oval in shape. Kepler's three laws of planetary motion revealed a universe of motion, of orbits, speeds, and distances, all governed by mathematical principles. These were not random events, but predictable, measurable phenomena. In many ways, Kepler's work bridged the gap between the heavens and Earth, showing that the same laws that govern the motion of the planets could also govern the motion of earthly objects. It was a profound realization that the universe was not just an abstraction. It was governed by the same principles that governed life itself. And then, in the 17th century, came the great synthesis. Isaac Newton, one of the greatest minds ever to have lived, Newton unlocked the fundamental laws of nature that had remained hidden for so long. His law of universal gravitation, the idea that every object in the universe attracts every other object with a force that is proportional to their mass and the distance between them, was nothing short of revolutionary. Through Newton's law, the universe was no longer a chaotic, unknowable place. It was a machine, an immense, interconnected mechanism where everything had a purpose, a cause, and an effect. The same force that made an apple fall from a tree also kept the planets in orbit around the sun. Gravity, once thought to be a mystery, was now understood as an invisible hand guiding the motion of the cosmos. Newton gave humanity the tools to understand the heavens as never before, and his work would set the stage for the next era of discovery. As the 20th century dawned, our understanding of the universe took another giant leap forward. Einstein's theory of relativity showed that gravity was not a force transmitted through space, but a curvature of space-time itself. This was a universe far more complex, dynamic, and elastic than anyone had ever imagined. Space and time were not separate entities. They were woven together, part of the same fabric. Then came Edwin Hubble, whose observations revealed something even more extraordinary. The universe was expanding. Galaxies, once thought to be stationary, were moving away from each other, as if the universe itself was stretching and growing. This was the birth of what we now call the Big Bang Theory, the idea that the universe had a beginning that could be traced back to a single, incredibly dense point. In one fell swoop, Hubble had answered one of humanity's most profound questions. Where did the universe come from? The 20th century was not just a time of discovery, It was also a time of exploration. Humanity ventured beyond the Earth, reaching the moon, launching satellites, and sending probes to distant planets. The Apollo missions were a landmark achievement as humans set foot on another world for the first time. In that moment, humanity was no longer confined to Earth. We had become explorers, voyaging into the cosmos in search of knowledge, truth, and perhaps a deeper understanding of our place in the universe.